And we're back with a season 2 premiere episode again. It's me. It's that MA double T, and riding with me always on a Friday afternoon, Scott T.
What's up, guys? What's up?
We're talking everything college football. This is my favorite time of year. This is just it's so exciting for me. I think. I mean, this stuff is just incredible to talk about.
Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah.
Cool. He's right. One of the most exciting times of the year. You know, you get to sit on your porch and watch the games with your guys and make the predictions, and then you get these shocking moments. Unfortunately, I have a prediction that we're going to see a lot of upsets in the Big Ten and all over the nation this year. I don't know if we could honestly, truthfully pick a numero uno best team, but it's going to change rapidly. I have a feeling.
Well, today's episode is going to be kind of a bang episode. I guess we can go and just dive into our conference predictions first, and then we'll talk about our top 25 going into next season. Let's start off in the Mountain West. We'll start off with what the conference we'll be watching. They don't have anyone in the AP or the coaches poll top 25 currently. But it's always a fun conference because they play really good football and it's fun and it's just fast paced. We each picked our top 3 teams to watch, if you will, in each division, or in each conference. So you can go ahead with your first one, or
at number 3, I would have to put, just because I loved seeing where this team came from and where they're at now. I'm going to go with Colorado State. They're a fun ball club. They're fun to watch. So I think they deserve a number 3 in that.
I mean, we have, I mean, not necessarily direct correlation with that team, but a young man who was the son of a guy that went to the same high school as our father, Brad Van Pelt's son, Bradley Van Pelt, played quarterback there for a while.
There you go.
And the coach at CMU, Jim McElwain, Coach Mac, also coached at Colorado State. So, my number 3 team to watch in the Mountain West is kind of a sleeper. I love their unis. It's just a fun place. I've always liked University of Wyoming. It's just a really cool atmosphere. Josh Allen came out of Wyoming. So it's just one of those schools that I've always followed because I like their unis, and it's just a pretty cool place. But I'm going to go Wyo. It's going to surprise everybody.
My number 2, and I think, and I don't want to throw this out there, but I think that it's going to be a good test for Michigan to see where they're at. I would not sleep on Fresno State. That's my number 2 team. They're going to make noise in the Mountain West. So look out.
My number 2 is actually your number 3. I went with Colorado State.
All right.
They're again a ball club that likes to chuck the rock a little bit. They are just a very good football team. And they're just a fun football team as well.
Yeah. I think the biggest threat, not just because they probably have ultimately the coolest looking field in all of college football. But they're a very impressive football team as well. I bet you they lose maybe one game in the Mountain West this year, but I'm going to go with Boise State.
I'm going to also go with run with Boise. They're always there. They're always in the top of the Mountain West, and they're a very good football team. They were the original team to break the glass ceiling and of mid majors making it to a big bowl game.
Yep.
They went and beat Ohio. Went and beat Oklahoma back with that fake. Was it a fake field goal, or that that trick play at the end of the game to win the Fiesta Bowl? That was a hell of a play.
Yep.
I guess we can continue with the mid-major, and we'll talk about CMU's conference. We can talk about the Mid-American Conference, the MAC. It sucks. I'll start off with this one. It sucks for me because I work there. My number 3 is CMU. There are 2 teams ahead of them that aren't going to make noise, and I think CMU's there, but just not enough to edge one of these, or one of these schools is going to nip them. And I hope I'm wrong for any of the CMU people, if they ever see this. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. And I think I will be wrong, but I'm putting them at number 3 just as a safe blanket statement.
I am not. I'm going to disappoint Matt. I hate this because I just realized my potential top 3 are all from the same stupid state of Ohio. But with that said, I watch enough MAC football, and every year CMU's right there. You know, they're right there. But I'm going to give it to Ohio. Ohio. They're going to be at number 3.
My number 2 is a sleeper. In all terms, in all definition of the word, I'm going to go Bowling Green. I think Bowling Green's at number 2. That they're explosive enough but they're dangerous enough to beat a lot of schools. They're explosive enough to beat an Illinois, like a lower tier Big Ten school, or a lower tier SEC school like Vanderbilt. I think they could do it, but I think they are in the top 3 of the MAC for sure.
Again, my toss-up, I'd be honest with you, Matt, it was between Bowling Green and Miami of Ohio as far as who's going to get that second spot. It's a tough conference. I'm going to go with Miami of Ohio.
Okay.
The top
number 2. The winner, the team that's going to win this thing is the team that won it last year. It's going to be Toledo. I think Toledo's got enough. They just always seem to have the it factor. They always have the transfer kid from a major college but this is again why I have CMU at 3. He's a junior this year under center, Joe Labas. He's a transfer he's a transfer quarterback from Iowa. He's under center for the Chip this year. I'll be seeing him up close and personal. Like we're going to the game. Andrew and I are going to be at the game on next Thursday for their home opener, season opener against Coastal or Central Connecticut, and But I think Toledo wins the conference. They won it the last couple of years. I just think that they have it.
Yep. I agree. And I'm going to say the same. Toledo's always had, it seems like Toledo's has had it, the it factor for a while, and you'd be kidding yourself if you didn't think they were going to be number 1. For sure.
Let's roll on into the Big 12. Who you got in the number 3?
I got to find my Big 12 people. That's Utah, Kansas State, Central Florida, Kansas. Oh, man. You know what? I like that school from Florida, the University of Central Florida. They play mad football. They're a bunch of badasses. And I'm going to say they won't disappoint again this year. Although they're just kids. I was in that conference too. I wish he had a team. I mean, I don't know. They could make some noise for that third spot. They could make that noise for the third spot. But I'm going to go with Central Florida, number 3.
Number 3 for me is Kansas State. I think K-State, they're so athletic and they're so speedy on the outside. I think Kansas State is the sleeper to potentially win that division. But I think a safe spot for them is that number 3. I think someone had them at 21 in the nation. Like one of the, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, I'm going to go Kansas State at 3.
Well, I'm going to stay in the same state, but I'm going to go with Kansas. The Jayhawks is number 2.
At 2?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Utah at 2. I don't think Utah has enough to come into a new conference. I mean, they owned a weak Pac-12. I just think I think coming into a newer conference, it's going to be a little bit different. But I think Utah takes number 2, potentially wins the conference, but I just think that they're going to land at number 2.
I'm going to go with your boys that you put at number 2, Kansas State, as number 1.
I had Kansas State at 3.
I'm sorry, they're number 1. They're going to finish in the top of the division. They got a new quarterback. What a fresh way. He's going to make an impression. I think that he's going to make an impression on this conference. So I think I'm going to say Kansas State at number 1.
I'm actually going to I like Mike Gundy and the Oklahoma State Cowboys to be in that number 1 team. They have a lot of weapons. They have arguably the best running back in the nation. I see them winning that conference. I see them making a push for that for a first round bye. As a matter of fact, I think they have what it takes if they just go out and play their game. I'm going to take Oklahoma State to win the Big 12.
You think they got enough in the tank to make the first round bye of the Natty?
I mean, I think if they don't get the first, that might be a bit of a stretch, but I think they're in the top 12 teams in the nation.
Okay. That's fair.
Let's go to the ACC. This one's going to shock some people, I think. I'm going to go NC State at the number 3 spot in that conference. I think NC State, the Wolfpack, has a lot to prove. They came on really tough late last year, and they made a lot of waves. I think they have a legitimate shot at making a run at the playoffs as well if they get hot and they play and some people get cold. I'm going to go NC State at the 3 hole.
Now, I picked this team because I love their energy, I love their enthusiasm, and I love their presence. I love they go out there and they're like look at us, we're a bunch of Billy badasses. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm going to throw up the U and go out for University of Miami as my number 3. It's always fun to watch the Hurricanes. I mean, they always shock. They can shock you. Then at the same note, they can go boop and tank. So I hope this year they shock us off and go rise to the top. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to be dangerous in the ACC. So I'm going to put Miami as number 3.
Okay. My number 2 team, I wanted to throw up the U's for number 2. I really did. But in my mind of thinking, I just couldn't see them. They're my fourth. They're in my 4 hole. They're my cleanup hitters. I threw up a little bit in my mouth and for this one. I'm going to put Clemson there at 2. I'm not necessarily the biggest Clemson guy, but I think that they're the only other team other than the number 1, and I think we both have the same team at number 1. But Clemson at 2 for me, because they and until someone smacks them around, and until someone from the ACC smacks them down to the 3 or 4 hole, that number 2 is theirs.
I mean, I agree, Matt. You can't, if you're talking number 2, you're like, yeah, obvious pick would probably be Clemson, right? Because they have a hell of a program everywhere, from the coach all the way down to even the guys playing third string. They're just incredible. I say that, but North Carolina shocked the world last year. Did they not?
Well,
I remember,
not to sway you, but Drake May's gone.
True.
The quarterback's gone.
That's true. So that's what frustrates me. Same thing as with Matt. I know my number 1. I'm solid at number 1, no questions. But if it wasn't for the quarterback not being in North Carolina, I'd definitely put them number 2. I think it's going to be a couple more years to bounce back from that. So yes, I think Clemson will take the number 2 spot.
And I mean, obviously, my number 1 is going to be Florida State. Go Noles. That team is definitely a top 10 school, possibly a top 5 by the end of the year. They have a tough road ahead of them, but I think get those Tomahawks ready. We're gonna head to the tournament.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with Matt 100%. Florida State, yeah, they're gonna win it. If they can stay focused and stay on task, they'll win it. And then you'll see them in the playoffs for sure.
So we're going to go with the SEC. Who is your number 3 in the SEC?
SEC. Number 3.
I'm gonna piss off a lot of my friends with this one. I promise you that.
I'm gonna go Vols. Number 3, Vols. I love the Vols. Tennessee, man, they have something to prove. They have great teams. They got shocking teams. They got surprisers. And I think they got the heart. Go Vols.
I'm going Roll Tide at number 3.
Smack the shit out of you. Reach through that camera.
I'm gonna go Roll Tide for 3. You can't not have. They're just like Clemson. I throw up a little bit in my mouth when I say Roll Tide, but I think they win enough to get them in that number 3. Yeah, Roll Tide at 3.
I don't get no respect from me. Sorry.
So number 2, who do you got? You got 2.
Georgia.
I got Ole Miss. I think the Rebels will be one of those teams to watch. They could potentially win the whole damn thing. 1 and 2 for me. I got Georgia at 1. So Ole Miss at 2 and Georgia at number 1. Because in my opinion, I think Georgia's got probably the most explosive team in the SEC. Like that team. Of course, you got to go throw hook 'em horns up.
Yep.
All right.
Texas. Love those guys. Those guys are hard-nosed football players for sure.
If Quinn Ewers stays healthy, they can go a ways. Now the Big Ten coming in at number 3. Everyone knows I hate this team. I don't like even saying their names. But they're going to be they are the 3rd best team in my opinion. They're going to finish 3rd in the conference. So the Ohio State Buckeyes 3.
I don't even know, man. All right. I'm going to be a
They're
realist.
a very good team. Don't get me wrong. They're a very good team, and I'm gonna sound like an asshole. I'm gonna sound like an asshole a little bit because I do switch things up in our top 25. But
Pop says, "Do you know what? Do you guys know what you're talking about?" No.
I mean, I like to think I do.
So this conference, to me, just got the most difficult conference in the nation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us Michigan fans, that sucks. Fortunately for the Michigan fans, we have 12 teams in the playoffs this year. And we know that Michigan gets hot during the, if they don't stay hot all season. And God. Number 3. Michigan.
I mean,
they're gonna have to play tough ball. They're not gonna lose. They're not gonna win every game. If anybody's a believer that they're gonna win every game, I think you'll be. Don't disappoint.
We can win every game though. We
can, but don't be disappointed because you have the way I looked at the schedule. You have like 3 to 4 opportunities to lose. But I will say Michigan. I'll give Michigan the nod at 3.
My number 2. Mm-hmm. My number 2 is Oregon. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the Big Ten. This is your opportunity to show us what you're really made of. And Oregon at 2.
Ready for this? Thank God we don't play them this year. In Ohio State, do all due respect, you're not in my top 3. Just saying. Number 2 is the whiteout, Penn State. They're tough. It's perfect opportunity for them. You're going to see that. You're going to see them in the big dance. Number 2, Penn State.
My number 1 is Michigan. The reigning defending national champions. They will be that until someone beats them. That has to be their attitude. That's my attitude as a fan, and that's what we have to. That has to be our mentality, and we have to have that swagger. We have to know that we can beat anybody in the nation. We proved it last year. We weren't supposed to beat Bama. We weren't supposed to beat those teams. We weren't even supposed to beat Ohio State last year. But we did. We weren't supposed to beat Penn State on the road in the whiteout. But you know what? We ran the ball like 70 times and we won. Michigan will win. Michigan wins the Big Ten. They're not going to roll everybody. They're going to punch Texas in the mouth in week 2. And we're going to say, all right, we're here. We're here to play. So, yes, Michigan wins the Big Ten.
I'm going to take your number 3. I think you put them at 3. No, not 3. I'm going to put Oregon at number 1. They're going to come in to this new conference. Come on, face it. They're a great football team. I think in addition to them, I think what I like about this is with the addition of Oregon, South Carolina.
USC. That's what? Southern Cal.
USC. I'm sorry. And UCLA and Washington. That can shut these ACC, SEC people's mouths about how tough this conference is. And I think Oregon is a good addition to this conference, and I think that it's going to make the games that much better. And I put them at number 1. I'm hoping for the flip of Michigan and Oregon at number 2 and number 3 and 1. I don't know. I'm a fan of Michigan till always through and through, even if they lose every game, which they won't. But we'll have to see. This is a tough conference. I will not sit here and say it's not. You're going to see some amazing football games, and you're going to see these. You look at Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan. They're going to lose a game.
Now,
They're not going to go undefeated.
The Big Ten in general is a weird conference because there's a sleeper team in this one that can go into any of these stadiums and win. I think the guys out at Rutgers are putting together something special. I think they're gonna beat a team in the top 25. I have a sneaking suspicion they're gonna beat somebody and open people's eyes. They're a very talented group of guys out there, and I think that's my one dark horse to make people, oh shit, these guys are for real.
I think mine for me, Matt, is I love watching them play. They play with heart every game. Iowa, they're going to be tough. You're going to watch them, and hopefully, like you said, Rutgers, hopefully that opens the eyes to people. So that, again, I said it before, hopefully people realize that the Big Ten is not a weak conference anymore.
Okay, so this time, this portion is us telling, this part of the next part of the show will be us running through who we think the top 25 schools are. And again, what we put down here are who we think are going to win the division or win their conference. This next one is what we're ranking people currently, like before the season starts. So I might have someone winning a conference, but down further than people that are in front, that they're in front of. So I just kind of want you to know I'm going to sound a little hypocritical just for a second, but I want you to know that the people that I picked at 1 is who I picking to win the conference. Okay. My number 25.
Top 25 overall.
Yep. My number 25 school is a team that I hated on because I thought that they were overhyped last year. But they're in year 2 of Deion's ruling there. I'm going to put Colorado at number 25. I think that's a safe place for them to start. They're not on the coaches poll or the AP poll, but I'm going to put them at 25.
I'm going to go with the guys in blue field, Boise State. I think they're going to be 25. They're match 25, number 25.
Number 24, you just spoke about these guys being tough. I'm going to go Iowa at 24. They're always that again, these are just preseason rankings. These are who we think that they're the 25 best schools in the nation before the first snap, before the first whistle. I'm going to go Iowa at 24.
I'm going to put the team that Michigan handed their ass to last year pretty handily, Washington, at number 24.
Number 23, another Big Ten school. I'm going to go Southern Cal, USC, the Trojans. They're a firm spot at 23 for me. They lost Caleb Williams. They lost a lot of other things, and I just think that 23 is a generous. I almost took them right off the top 25, but just because they're USC, they're 23.
I'm gonna go with Louisville. Can't count the Cardinals out. They make noise. They got, for some goddamn reason, nothing about them but that they're making noise, right? So they deserve a 23.
At number 22 for me, I have the Wildcats from Arizona. That adding them to the Big 12, they're a sleeper team in the Big 12. I think that they have a legitimate shot at moving up the ranks. I think, but I'm going to go 22 for Arizona.
I'm going to go with Texas A&M at 22. I think they're going to. They play. I love watching them play football. But now that I've been down in the SEC, ACC country, down in Florida, you get the chance to watch Texas A&M all the time. So, yeah, I think they can get number 22.
Number 21 for me is Kansas State, K-State. I have them third in the Big 12 at the end of the season. I think that they can move up the list. They have all the talent in the world to move up the rankings as we go. But I think to start off the season at 21 is a very good spot for them. And that's where I'm going to put them. I'm going to put them at 21.
I'm going to put a Big Ten school there. Big Ten, you hate going to their stadium. You just hate it. I even as a Michigan fan, I get nervous when they go there. I'm going to put Wisconsin.
Okay. At 20, I'm going to go and throw up the U for Miami. That's a generous place to put them too. Because I didn't even put them in the top 3 of my. They're the 4 hole. In the ACC for me, but I think that they could get into at 20. They could be that. They can move up as well. It all depends on, like you said, if they show up.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Iowa at number 20.
Okay.
I love Iowa football. I mean, not just as a football team, but I believe, aren't they the ones that wave to the hospital? I mean, that would probably be one of the coolest experiences, I guess, in college football, is to be at a game, and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah.
Number 19 for me is we're staying in the ACC, the number 3 team for me, NC State. Again, a lot of very, very good upside to them, and they could potentially make that jump further up the list, but I think 19 is a pretty solid place to start them at. NC State at 19.
I'm going to put the 19 Kansas State. I'm going to do that.
Okay. Staying in the ACC, I'm going to go Clemson at 18. That's a little lower than I thought I'd end up putting them. I think they're good enough to finish second in the ACC, but I don't think they can really break the top 10. I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but 18 for sure.
18. I'm going to go Missouri at 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Missouri at 18.
Now, again, remember, everyone watching, this isn't where we think they're going to end up. This is where we're ranking them currently before everything starts progressing. At 17, I'm going to go OK State. I think currently there's 17 in the nation. I think that they could move up into the top 10. I really do. If they're a team, if they get hot, Stillwater can really get rocking. And I think, they're 17th right now, but look for them to be in the top 10.
I'd agree with Matt. I think they're a solid ball. They earned that 17 that they're currently at, so I'd keep them at 17 for
sure. Number 16 from the SEC, your boys, the Vols. I'm putting them at 16. Not quite a top 15 team. They're a very dangerous team at 16. They're without Joe Milton's gone. They're trying to figure stuff out at quarterback, but I think they're going to be okay. And I think they're going to be the 16. I mean, I'm putting them at 16 to start with.
Say Tennessee?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Utah at 16. Yeah.
Okay.
Utah. Now, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're just they're maybe 8-5, 9-4 ball club. I think they're going to. Right now, they sit good at 16.
Number 15, I'm gonna give a shout out to our cousin PJ Maybank, Boomer Sooner. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma at 15. They're a perennial powerhouse. They always figure out a way of being in the top 15, top 10, even on some occasions. I think Oklahoma, they just have to figure it out and again, get hot at the right time.
15, huh? I'd agree, Matt. 15 would, Boomer Sooner. PJ Maybank, shout out, just like bro Matt said. Boomer Sooner, they're good enough to be 15.
You said Utah at 16. I went Utah at 14.
Okay.
That's a very good ball team. We'll just see. We'll see what the Big 12 gives them. But I feel confident that they're going to be 14 or I mean, that's a comfortable spot for them right now. We'll see if they can figure it out. I don't know. 14 for me.
Have I said Miami yet?
No.
I'm going to give the U's 14.
Okay. Number 13.
Hopefully. I mean, that's where I think they are now. Again, hear me what I said before. They strike big or they tank. It's one or the other. They've proven that over the years. It's either yay or bleh. But right now, I say they're 14.
13 for me is Mizzou. Missouri, there's a very good ball team. But again, it's hit or miss. We don't know what Missouri team's going to show up. But I'm going to go 13. That's comfortable. They're just outside of that playoff bubble at this for preseason. But yeah, 13.
I'm going to go LSU for 13.
Okay.
Yeah, LSU is at 13.
So the next 12 are obviously the playoffs are 12. So my preseason playoff would be obviously we would have these schools. That's what we think if the playoffs were as far as preseason. Number 12 for me is LSU. I think they lost a couple major things, but it just seems like a Brian Kelly school figures it out. And I think without Jaden Daniels, it's going to be a little tough, but I think LSU can squeak into that 12 spot.
My brothers will hate me because I left it up on purpose, and I picked this team. I talk crap about this team. I talk them up so much because I love their head coach. I am going to say this year is Colorado's year. They're going to be the top 12. They're good enough. Deion's going to show up. He's going to be on the sideline. Colorado.
Okay, well, that's your opinion.
And Dad, to answer Dad's question, do you guys know what you're talking about? Probably not.
At number 11, I have Utah.
Okay.
I think Utah is a really good team. Oh wait, no. I have Utah twice. Why?
Yeah.
Number 11, I have I don't know who I have at 12 or have at 11.
Have I said LSU yet?
Yes, you put them at 13.
I have not said Clemson. Okay. There you
go. Me. Texas A&M at 11.
I'm going to go Ole Miss at 11.
Okay. Number 10, as much as this kit just absolutely beats me up, Notre Dame at 10. Yeah, I'm going to go Notre Dame at 10.
Clemson's at 10 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Clemson has enough to start out at number 10.
Number 9 for me is the whiteout. We're gonna go Penn State at 9. Excuse me. Yeah, Penn State's a very good team, but I think they're gonna be number 9. That's where I put them right now.
I have Notre Dame coming at number 9.
Yeah. Okay. My number 8 team currently sitting here before the season starts are my boys in Ann Arbor. They're the number 8 team currently. By the end of the year, they should be a top 5 team because they have the ability. They have arguably, again, one of the top 2 to 3 running backs in the nation. They have a very good defense coming back. I think we're able to jump into the top 5, but I think starting off at number 8 is a very respectable and a very great, very good spot to put them.
I have the whiteout at Penn State, number 8.
Okay. My number 7 team is from Tallahassee, Florida. I think the Noles at 7 is a very good spot for them. And I think they can move up the ranks just like Michigan can. They just have to hit the right notes.
I have number 7. I have Michigan, University of Michigan.
Okay.
I'm missing one, though, here.
And number 6, I have Ole Miss at 6. That's a very good Ole Miss team. Again, I have them finishing second in the SEC, but as far as a preseason situation, I think Ole Miss is a better They're a very good team to start at that number 6 spot.
I'm painfully saying this, that I put these guys in front of us, but I think they're deserving it. They got more people coming back. Alabama is number 6.
I have Bama at 5 because they're Bama. Because they have a new coach who coached at Washington last year. That's why I couldn't put them in the top 4, and that's why I couldn't put them winning the SEC. If Nick Saban was on that sideline, they win the SEC. With Nick Saban, you cannot say they're not one of the best teams.
Right.
It's just he's arguably one of the best coaches of all time. You can't debate it. Like, there is no debate. He is like Bear Bryant status at this point. But yeah, Bama at 5 for me. For
number
again,
5.
Huh?
Go ahead. I'm thinking.
Again, these are how we're ranking them currently. This is not what we think that's going to end up the season. This is what we think they are currently. Bama 5.
Did I put Tennessee anywhere yet?
No, I don't think so.
That's what I had. Okay. I have Tennessee going in at 5.
This next one.
I love them. I loved what they did last year. I mean, they did great. So I'm going to say Tennessee at 5.
This next one, anytime I rank this team above our boys from Ann Arbor, part of me dies. It really does. The Buckeyes out at 4. That team's going to be very dangerous. Very dangerous to everybody that they play. Ohio State at 4.
All right. I put Florida State at 4.
Okay. Now my number 3 team is the newbie, the current number 3 team in the nation, the team that that will make a lot of waves, and it's Oregon. Oregon's the number 3 team currently. If the season ended right now without a game played, Oregon's number 3.
I am going to put those boys from Ohio at number 3. I won't even say their name. They don't deserve the name beyond my mouth. So those boys from Ohio, you know who you are. You were that stupid red and gray shit. Yeah, that's them. Number 3.
My number 2 team.
There you go.
Hook 'em Horns. They're the number 2. That team currently, like you look at that team, you're like, I don't want to play that team. I don't. That's the number 2 team in the nation. Currently.
Hook 'em Horns. Number 2. We got to go with it. And
I'm going to say this with no conviction in my I'm going to say it with my chest, god damn it. Georgia Bulldogs. The best team in the country. Number 1.
I didn't give them respect. Maybe okay. Back off. I need to revamp that because I left them off the top. I left them off the top 10. I didn't even say that.
Who's that coming down the track?
All right.
The Mean Machine in the red and black.
All right.
Nothing finer in the land
So
than a Georgia fan.
Excuse my number 5. So I don't know who I even said for number 5. LSU, I think. No, Tennessee, I said. Sorry, excuse that. Put Texas at put Ohio State back at number 5. Like I agree with Matt. I'm gonna move Oregon to number 3 because I had them as my number 1. I'm gonna put you gotta believe that they're number 1, right? They're in the nation right now. If you're any kind of football fan or don't want to sound stupid, you need to put Georgia Bulldogs on that. I mean, come on, let's be real.
Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!
Pains me to say that, but if I had to pick a team down south here, I'd pick the Bulldogs any day.
Oh yeah, that's the only SEC school that I can sink my teeth into. I don't know if it's because I grew up in the Lake Bulldog or whatever, but they've always been a thing. Like they've always been my boys from the SEC. So that's the college portion of this. Next week we're going to be talking NFL. We're going to be picking our divisional winners, along with picking 7 games, and we're keeping score this year, guys. We're keeping score. So there's going to be 7 games, 1 from each of the Power 5 conferences. We're going to always pick the Michigan game. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or Power 4 conference. We're going to always pick the Michigan game for 5. We're always going to pick the CMU game. We're going to pick the Mountain West for our 7. So, yeah. But that's next week's schedule. Next week we'll be live on Thursday due to how early the season starts. That way we can pick the CMU game. Because they play next Thursday night at 7 o'clock at night at Kelly Shores Stadium, kicking it off against Central Connecticut. We'll be there. Andrew, Jennifer, and I will be there in the house watching. Fire up chips for that one. Followed by but that next week we'll be giving our picks for that, and we'll be talking our NFL picks for the season, like the divisions and all that kind of stuff, like we did for conferences today. But a special shout out to tomorrow. Hold on. Tomorrow starts the last the last go around for my coaching, last year of coaching for me. So fire up Claire youth. Hold on, youth football. Let's go Pioneers. Let's win. Let's win tomorrow. If any of the people on Facebook end up watching this further back, that our parents or other coaches or even kids or whatever of that we coach. Coach Rogers very very impressed with what we've done in the short amount of time. We have a very good group of young men playing with us. We have a very, very, very good coaching staff. I'm not the head coach. Shout out to Tony Muslin. He's the head coach. Thank you for having me on your staff this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Winning isn't everything, and it's not the only thing either. Winning is something we strive for. It's not what our goal is. Our goal is to teach. Our goal is to grow these boys into very good young men, and to teach them the life lessons. If you lose a youth football game, you're not going to remember it when you're my age. I promise you. We're not playing in Texas. We're not playing in Snoop's football league. We're playing in the Jack Pine Conference in mid-Michigan. We're here to better ourselves each week. So, with that being said, go Pioneers. Let's beat Valley Lutheran tomorrow. Let's play hard and leave everything out on the field.
That's all I got, man. I love youth football. One of my favorite shows. I don't think it's even on anymore. I don't even think they make it a series anymore. It's Friday Night Tykes. That shows you a way not to be as a fan.
Oh,
and as a coach, to be honest with you.
Oh, that was rough. Watching
Friday
that.
Night Tykes, man. Oh yeah, it was rough.
That was.
But again, Matt said it. It's not. We're not Texas. We don't play football in Texas. We play football in Michigan. So.
We do. We play football to teach life lessons, to make them into better young men. A coachable and I've said this for every team I've coached. A coachable kid is a better employee in the future. Like, if your kid can listen and not make me repeat myself time and time again at right now, he's going to be a guy that someone's going to want to hire. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, tomorrow 3 p.m. in Meridian, we play Saginaw Valley Lutheran.
Okay.
So again, Facebook people, if you're around the area, come on out, show some support for Clare football. That's our season opener. So
good luck, Andrew.
A-Rod is ready. He's locked and loaded. He's our starting center. We have a. This is one of the most talented groups of individuals that I've had the pleasure of coaching. The offensive line is very big. We have a lot of speed, and I'm really excited about this year's team. Awesome. But anything to plug as far as our upcoming shows? I know we have Scott Atlas coming on the Tuesday Beyond the Mat. He has DM'd me. He has DM'd me and said that he watched the episode with Mr. John Campbell and is excited to share his side of the story come Tuesday. So
Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast at night show, because we do things differently. We have some night stuff. Tune in for I think we're gonna the guys that are available at night. Reek, Cody Wilson. I don't know if he's gonna be there. Bryson and George and myself, we're going to be doing the recaps of the Monday Night Raws or whatever pay-per-view was on over the weekend. That's on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central. Wednesday night, Rich Wise. This guy is from Orlando area. He is the most arrogant son of a bitch you could ever. He's so over himself. That should be a fun interview to watch. Hopefully he's not watching it, but I watched another podcast with him in it, and this dude's in the bathtub, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm a badass," you know. So he's that solid of a performer that it should be a good show. It should be a fun show. But that's on Wednesday, and then we roll into September. So, yeah.
So, and I want to take this time to say thank you to all the people. We had, I think, 6 people was the top rolling for the live portion. I want to say thank you for everyone who's came in. Thank you for the 3 that are remaining. I love talking football for now. I love just being able to spend this hour and talk with my brother about football. Gives me a chance to spout off and sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about. But
yeah.
I enjoy this. And again, I'm gonna out myself. I'm a football nerd that is a wrestling fan on the side. That I will out myself. I'm not a wrestling uber fan. I am football first, wrestling a close second. Now, be mad, come at me. I will throw hands. I will throw hands and make you look stupid.
I will say this: I do not profess to be a football nerd, nor do I profess to be a wrestling nerd. I love indie wrestling, so that's what you'll see a lot on the night show is about indie wrestling. And if you do check out our Tuesday show, it's about opinions, right? And let's make this clear. Sometimes my opinions aren't necessarily taken as the smartest opinions, but they're my opinions, and it's okay to have those opinions. Same with football. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to college football teams. I watch who I watch because I love who I watch, correct? I think that if that's a sport, that's a sports fan, right? So if I don't come across knowing that, I've left Georgia out of the top 10, right? I am a fan of football. So yeah, my opinions probably won't be close to anybody else's opinions. Well, that's okay, because that's all right. That's what makes us fans. Check us out on our Facebook page. Check us out on our YouTube page at Huge Pop Wrestling. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, guys. Thank you again.
Cody, you bring the best out in me, man. Thanks, man. I piss you off is what he's trying to say. I pissed him off enough to bring out the best of himself.
Well, I'm the guy. I guess I'm just chopped liver at this point. So thanks, Cody. Appreciate you too.
He's your bestie, bro.
Anyway, thank you all for joining. We'll be back next week. And
Matt's just trying to be friendly. That's all he's trying to be.
Thank you, Cody, for taking a break from listening to all the Taylor Swift albums. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Hi, Cody.